Welcome back, my friends, to the motorbike show that never ends. It's hello from him. So, where are we? We're by a lake. What does that say? Thin ice and open water. Well, not today, because it's the middle of summer. Beginning of August, to be precise. So where indeed are we? Well, we're by a large inland lake. Catchment area who is larger than Wales, which is a small country on the left hand side of Great Britain. Can't really see much because it's early evening and the sun is low, but it's where they generate power when you turn on your air conditioning in the summer or your heating in the winter. The water goes down those intakes, powers the turbines that turn the generators that make your electricity. So anyway, I didn't know what to call this video, sort of tales from the road or thoughts from the road, something like that, but we're out on the Himmy tonight. Just a general talk about the Himmy. There she is in all her glory, with my Mark IV windshield on and my homemade logos. What do you think about that? Amazing, eh? Well, yeah, that's the Mark IV screen, and still experimenting this time with bending the screen. You see that? And that was partially successful. So we shall carry on. Not bad actually, works pretty good. And the amount of buffeting on the helmet is about the same as the original, or perhaps a little bit less. But amazingly, if you lift up the visor, the clear visor, the buffeting disappears. Yeah, I don't understand it either, but anyway. Yeah, well, I'm gonna soldier on with this, make a few more adjustments, change a few more things, but I think I'm on the right track towards getting a reasonable windshield that isn't too huge. Done some fuel economy tests with my big barn door windshield. I was getting 4.6 litres per 100 kilometers, and what am I getting now? Hard to see in the low sun. I am getting 3.9, that's 3.9 this evening over 100 kilometers. I filled up this evening. And went on the same roads as I did with the barn door windshield. So the barn door windshield really has an effect on the bike. Slows her down and pushes up the fuel. Or pushes, makes her use more fuel. Anyway, what else can I say? Oh, I wanted to talk about vibrations. People have been criticizing the Himmy for its vibrations. Well, as the engine breaks in and the bike does more kilometers, they get less and less. Originally, soon after the original break-in, the bike was vibrating very badly at 5,000 RPM, so much so that the homemade radiator guard, which is made out of aluminium, would vibrate and you could hear it. Doesn't do that anymore. The bike doesn't vibrate at 5,000 RPM anymore. You do get a slight vibration, but I would say that the vibration has calmed down, and you only really get it when you're approaching redline. But if you're approaching redline in 5th or 6th gear, you've got other things to think about other than vibration. Right. A couple of factors are involved in the vibration. The 2-inch bar risers, as soon as I put them on, they cut the vibration through the handlebars down. The what are these called? Grip puppies. The grip puppies, they work as well. They work pretty good. They help a little, not a huge amount, but a little. And I like the thicker grips, better for my hands. These mirrors, I'll talk about them in a minute. Sorry, the bead seat. Now this is not a very fancy one. I do have a pucker thing. I made this out of an old taxi driver's thing. Fell apart, and then I reweaved it with some little copper wire. It had fishing line in it before, and that just went. If ever you do decide to reweave one of these, give yourself lots of time and exercise lots of patience. It's just put on temporarily. I'm going to make some better ways, some little hooks to hold it onto the seat. Now, surprisingly, you wouldn't think so, this seat is quite hard. It's on that packing foam. It was on a previous video. My basic idea was to flatten the seat off, and that works for me. Now, this is hard. The beads are hard. They're made out of wood. But that actually reduces the vibration coming up through the seat by a lot. I was riding along this evening and I thought, you know what? I'm beginning to feel some vibration, and what was happening was that I'd slid back and my backside was touching this piece here, this part of the seat. So I was feeling the vibration coming through this edge here. When I slid forward, I didn't notice any vibration at all. There's just a tiny, tiny tingle through your feet, and that's it. The vibration has virtually gone. And you can cruise at 5,000 RPM, 6,000, 7,000 quite easily. Not a problem. Let's let me turn this off. Now, I'm running on the cheapest fuel available on regular fuel, which is 87 octane in North American terms. What's that, 91 in European, I think? I don't know. But anyway, I didn't buy this bike to put expensive fuel in. It's not like the big Tiger, which demands premium, which can cost sort of 25-30 cents a litre more, which on a trip significantly increases your fuel cost. Plus the fact that this bike uses less fuel than the big Tiger, obviously. Another factor affecting the vibration is mirrors. Now, you would not think it, but the shape of the mirror makes a difference too. You see how these are sort of tapered and streamlined? Well, putting these on reduced the vibration a little bit from the factory mirrors, which were on a steel stalk, and they were round, and at speed those mirrors would spin like that, which is quite funny. Not the first time I saw it. But anyway, I had rigged up an extension for those mirrors to get them out, and that made things better, but it didn't cure the vibration problem. And I've had square mirrors on other bikes in the past that vibrated terrible. And I was wanting to see what these are like, and these are good. I wasn't that enthusiastic about the first video I did with them on when I was down on the beach, but I've since made an extension for them. I've made this short extension here, which is, I think the whole thing's 3 inches, so the extension itself is 2 3/4, something like that. It's just made out of a piece of aluminum, and it's drilled and tapped here for the mirror fitting, and over here it's just drilled right the way through to hook up to the factory mirror. What do they call it? A perch? I think they call it. I don't know. Anyway, on this side it goes straight in, and on this side you have to use an adapter that comes with the mirror kit. So very pleased with those. You can adjust them You know, they're on ball joints, so if you hit anything they'll just bend out the way and you can bring them down, up, and do whatever you want. And then when you're off-road, if you want to ride off-road, you can just loosen them off, swing them out the way, and all is good. So there we are, some thoughts from the road. Yeah, the more I ride the bike, the more I like it. It's obviously not a top-of-the-range luxurious bike, but it's a do-everything bike. Get you there and get you home kind of a bike, which is what I like. Any bike that's going to be riding rugged roads, you don't want to be worried about dropping it. You don't want to be worried about the cost of replacement parts. Royal Enfield parts are by and large quite economical to buy. You're not paying Triumph or BMW or Harley Davidson prices. You're paying Royal Enfield prices, which is a good thing. Royal Enfield quality is good. It is probably not as well finished a bike as a Triumph, but it's better than it needs to be, if you know what I mean. It's quite surprising, I think, the leap in quality that I've seen in Royal Enfield even in the last 10 years. I can see a lot of Triumph influence in this bike because I know there's a lot of Triumph engineers and now working for Royal Enfield, and I like what they've done. They're not aiming for the premium end of the market, they're aiming for the practical end of the market. And when you look at this bike and you compare it to other bikes, what I like about it is the lack of plastic. The only plastic components in the bodywork are this side panel here and then a little bit around the tail, which if you drop the bike, it's highly unlikely you would damage them anyway, especially me because I've put my side racks on, but highly unlikely to get damaged. The tank is steel, and that covers up most of the vulnerable parts like the ECU, the throttle, body, etc, etc. The bike comes equipped with front crash bars, and although some people will say they're inadequate, I don't think they are. They're meant to protect the tank, and yeah, you might bend them and it might ding the tank, but you're not puncturing the tank with a sharp rock. And if you do like I do and put your side bags on, stuffed with soft things like a bike cover, spare gloves, spare camping shoes, etc, etc, something that will take a knock and absorb it, that's going to give you even more protection. I wouldn't recommend putting fuel in here, and I wouldn't recommend putting tools in there because they're sharp and hard, and they will transfer the shock right through into the tank, which is not a good idea, I don't believe. And again, around the front of the bike, excuse my untidy wiring, which will get changed in the winter, but there's no plastic around here either. No plastic to get smashed. Now I've got a headlight guard. Rocks are highly unlikely to hit that. I'm going to have to think of something for these, but I'll do that as time goes by. Yeah, so all in all, very, very pleased with this bike. It does everything I want it to. How far would I go on this bike? Well, there's no limit. I'd go around the world on this bike, wouldn't worry about it at all. I think it's ideal for that purpose too, because it's got enough power for the first world and for developing countries too. It's not overpowering on really rough roads and gravel. It will take you, and in sort of a developing country where speeds are less, it will take a pillion absolutely fine, no bother at all. Now, if I was doing a lot of motorway work too up in Europe or North America, I would not pick this bike. One up, with just the rider, it would be absolutely fine. Because it's not like the old Himalayan. You can travel at 70 mile an hour on this bike and you've still got 20 mile an hour reserve. so you can accelerate away from trouble if you have to. Not as fast as you would on, say, a Triumph Tiger or a big BMW or what have you, but it will do it. So yeah, she will manage that, not a problem. Yeah, just one of the workers driving by. So yeah, she's an excellent bike, I think. Well worth the money, and a bike you can rely on, I believe, as long as you look after it. If there are any issues that come up, I will let you know. Currently we are looking at the oil and the colour of the oil, but we'll see what can be done about that, and we may have to send some oil off for analysis, but I'm not unduly worried. But we'll see as we go by. But for the rest of it, yeah, very happy, and I will continue to experiment and make bits and pieces for it as I see fit. So until next time, let's go goodbye from him, goodbye from the Himmy. Sasha, the Himalayan dog, is not here. Well, she is in spirit. So until next time, take care of yourselves, look after one another, rubber side down, shiny side up. Behave yourselves, and if you can't behave, be careful. Bye bye.